Hello, is this Cedric?
This is Cedric Alexander.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for taking time to join us tonight. Been looking forward to it. We've been planning it for months, but we finally made it happen tonight.
Sounds good, man. Let's do this thing.
All righty, Austin, I'm going to let you fire away. Go ahead and start off with the first couple questions here. Go for it, man.
Right. I just want to start off and we go into, your tag team career with Caprice Coleman, CNC Wrestle Factory. You guys, I mean, throughout the entire year of 2013, you faced, and I was talking about this earlier, the top, tag teams in the world. I mean, you got Red Dragon, there's the Briscoes. I mean, anybody and everybody you guys took on. What do you think, happened to make you guys kind of want to go down and go into your own singles career just recently?
I think we just kind of plateaued and done as much as we could possibly do as a tag team. It's one of those things where we, I guess, mutually felt that we were better off going singles than we were in the tag team. It was one of those things where we've had so many title shots, so many opportunities, and we just felt like, if we didn't get it, this last time we were at Dragon, then, we just needed to break apart and take singles runs and see how those treat us before we try to continue doing this tag team thing.
And regardless, of you guys, splitting up the matches you've had, especially with Red Dragon, recently the last match, I think, the night that you guys announced that you were leaving was excellent. Phenomenal match, probably one of the best of the year, most definitely. But how do you feel about the matches that you've had throughout the year with Caprice Coleman?
I thought we had some fantastic matches. Some matches I've had with Caprice are probably some of the best matches I've ever had in my entire career. And I can't pick a bad match we've ever had. They've all been great matches. They've all added to me developing as a wrestler, and they've all added to my reputation as being a great tag team guy.
Most definitely. So what's in the horizon
right now? And I actually wanted to ask you. Oh, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, as a young man growing up, obviously we're all wrestling fans getting into, until you decide to delve into it and want to pursue it yourself. But what got you interested in wanting to pursue a career in professional wrestling? Was it maybe growing up watching some of the stars, or was there a particular star in mind that you kind of saw and you're like, what, I want to be like this person? What were some of your inspirations to get into the wrestling business?
Sort of like inspirations to get into the wrestling business. Okay, well, I kind of break down my break into wrestling with two different, events here. Like the first match that I ever watched, like really thinking, oh man, wrestling is awesome and I want to watch it every single day, was it was a match between Rey Mysterio and Juventud Guerrera, like early 1995, 94, 96, something like that. And like,
great choices.
Yeah, like watching those guys was amazing. It got me hooked from day one as a wrestling fan. But when I made the conscious decision to be a wrestler and say, hey, I want to be like that guy. The guys I was watching back then were guys like Chris Sabin, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe. Those were the guys that I was like, man, I want to be like these guys. These guys are amazing to watch. And, a lot of people think, oh, man, you should have been fans of Shawn Michaels and et cetera, which I was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Not saying that they're not great guys to watch and follow yourself after, but in my mind, I wanted to have the athleticism and the ability of a AJ Styles and Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely.
You definitely do that there. Because,
getting a chance to work with, I was just wondering real quick, I'm sorry about that, Austin. Now that AJ has been a part of Ring of Honor, is there maybe a future possibility of getting to work with him? Is that something that could be done? Or, I don't know exactly how long he's there for, if he's there for a while or not, but definitely I'm sure there's going to be a few of the guys wanting the gun for him to get in the ring and have a match with them, I'm sure. But is that something that would be of interest to you as well?
Of course, getting in the ring with AJ is something I'm very interested in ROH. I know he's going to be around for a while, so I would like to hope to get a match with him in in ROH particularly. But now that we bring up the match with AJ, I actually have a match with him this weekend, Sunday against him. So that's definitely a dream come true. I think if we do an ROH,
cross that off the bucket list.
I know, right? But I feel like if we would do that match in ROH, fans would more fans would see it, more fans would would be appreciative of it. But with this Carolina crowd, they'll definitely be very accepting of it as well. But I'm just happy to have a match with AJ in general. So as long as I get the match wherever it may be, I'm just happy to have it.
I would be freaking out if I were you, just how ironic that is, you watching them, when you're growing up before you become a professional wrestler, and then you get to actually face him, wrestle him. That's kind of rare, and I've always said this about Ring of Honor fans, that the Ring of Honor fans are the absolute best in this entire world. You have WWE fans.
That's what I've noticed, Austin, too, is that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, you guys both can, I've noticed just from my experiences watching, they're so passionate about what they see, and it's not so much the stories, but it's the fact that they go out there and these guys put on some fantastic wrestling matches, and that's what the fans really like, and they really that's what I think they differ from the WWE fans or TNA fans. ROH fans seem to be a little bit more passionate about what they see. At least it's from what I've seen.
I completely agree with that. The ROH fans are very passionate about the things they see. They appreciate great match storytelling. They appreciate the sacrifice that we make every day, getting into that ring and doing what we do. And I think they're just happy to see the best wrestlers anywhere go in the ring and tear it up. Regardless, like Paul London, like when he was in ROH, he got the chant, please don't die, because he would risk his life every which way he could to make sure the fans went home happy. And with that chant right there, please don't die, just shows how appreciative ROH fans are that you're willing to do any and everything to make sure they go home happy.
Most definitely. I haven't seen, I've always said this about Ring of Honor, I haven't seen a bad match, there's always so I'm going to put it this way, if I would be going to, watching wrestling and seeing Ring of Honor, and I'm just saying a new guy, but saying if I was a new guy watching wrestling, Ring of Honor is just in every single move or just anything you guys do in the ring, you put you kind of amplify it to 10, and the crowd just, I can't explain it. It's kind of, I lose my words when I talk about this stuff. It's just phenomenal what you guys do, and I don't know if it's just the Ring of Honor, if they demand that kind of presence. It's really the aura.
Yeah, definitely.
And getting the chance to work in Ring of Honor, you've gotten to face some pretty big names, as Austin had mentioned. Has there been, besides, of course, the fact that you're going to face AJ coming soon, has there been the possibility of working with other competitors that have caught your eye? Did you actually get a chance to work with Paul London? Would there be other guys that you'd be interested in working with that have come through ROH, maybe a Chris Hero? Just something to think about. But, who were some of the people that you'd actually like to work with if the possibility presents itself?
That's actually quite a long list. But recently, I've actually shortened that list up a little bit. I recently got to work Jay Lethal in a singles match. Actually, it was last June. I got to work in a singles match. But they all seem to be matches outside of ROH, which I really wish they could happen in ROH. But I've worked Jay Lethal. I've worked John Gargano, which he doesn't even work ROH at all, but wrestling him was awesome. I actually wrestled Chris Hero right before he came back to ROH in a singles match, and that was phenomenal as well. And actually, I get to wrestle Michael Elgin in a singles match this Saturday. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
He posted something on his Facebook account saying that he's one of the people that he wants to. You were one of the people that he wants to face. So it's pretty cool to see it actually happen.
Yeah, man.
Did it happen yet? I don't think you ever wrestled Michael Elgin yet.
I've wrestled him once in a tag match, but never in a singles But I'll definitely be fixing that this weekend.
And, Michael Elgin's just, one of those guys that just, I don't know, I think I've always thought about this, him just being one of the best in the world right now. He's just
really intense at what he does, that's for sure.
No, he's brilliant.
And getting to, work with a lot of the guys you have in Ring of Honor, and do you keep up with the current product with TNA, Ring of and WWE?
Yeah.
So,
wrestling is possible, yeah.
Who would there be? Obviously, some of the competitors you see on there that you would like to work with one day, from either roster, from WWE or TNA. Obviously, with the exception, we're going to cross off AJ Styles, but I mean, there's other guys in there, like Christopher Daniels, who would spend some time in Ring of Honor years ago. But
of course,
I'll let you answer that question. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, of course, man. I love to wrestle Daniels, Joe, Aries, Sabin. For the WWE guys, I would love to wrestle. Dolph Ziggler is one guy that I'm a huge fan of, and I feel like is being held back a lot. I would definitely love to wrestle him.
Why do you feel that, if you don't mind me asking?
He's just so talented, man, and like the way they, I guess, treated him on WWE TV, to me, is just criminal. Like, he went from being world heavyweight champion to being the guy for a little bit there, and they just kind of ripped it away from him, and now he's, just kind of floating around. I feel like he should be up there with CM Punk, Randy Orton, et cetera, et cetera. He should be a top contender for the belt because he's so great on the mic, and he's phenomenal in the ring. Like, honestly,
that's off the ring, that's for sure.
Oh God, yeah. Like, I feel like Dolph Ziggler is hands down the best performer in the company right now.
And what do you think this current raid with Bryan Danielson, how completely crazily popular he's become in the last year and a half or so? His popularity is really, soared to new heights. Are you a follower of the Goatface? I guess I don't want to call him Goatface, but Daniel Bryan.
I've always been a fan of Bryan Daniels, or Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to call him. I've always been a great fan of his, and the fact that he has gotten as popular as he has just shows how great of a wrestler he is and how great of a personality he is, because for a long time, people were saying that he would never make it in WWE because he had no personality. But he had it in the ring, but he had no personality, which obviously those people were dead wrong, because right now he is the most popular guy in the company. I don't see why he shouldn't be WWE World Heavyweight Champion within the next few months.
Absolutely.
Speaking of WWE, I don't know if you're interested in actually going, and I guess everybody is in some way, but actually going to work there. I mean, is that in your horizon?
Of course.
I'm sure at one point in your
career. I'm sorry?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I'm sure at one point in your career, it's probably something further down the line you'd like to do.
Maybe further down the line. I'm not, trying to burn any bridges just to get there. If I happen to get there at one point in my career, awesome. I'll gladly take it. But it's not something that I'm going to, sought after just because it's there. If the cards are played right and it happens, then it's fantastic. If not, I won't be bitter or upset about it at all.
And that's an excellent mindset, because it proves that you really are content, with what you have right now and what you're doing right now. It's excellent.
Yeah, thank you.
And some people are more content with what they're doing, and although it would be nice to be in WWE, I don't think it's. A lot of people are okay with not having to be there. If they don't make it there, they're okay with that, and I think that's respectable. We've had stars come on the show that are happy where they're at, wherever that may be. Whatever company they're with, they're okay with that. If they make it there, cool. But you know what? They're not. The world's not going to come to an end if they don't make it to WWE. I guess is my point.
Exactly. There's plenty of guys who, have never made it to WWE and live perfectly great lives and careers just living off wrestling. That's really my ultimate goal, is just to live off being a professional wrestler. Whether I make it to WWE or not.
Who were some of your favorite talkers growing up in the watching as a wrestling fan. I mean, there have been quite a few that have come through that are pretty good on the mic. I mean, was there any particular person that stood out to you as obviously more so as a good talker? I mean, it could be a good wrestler too, but I mean, somebody who is really good on the mic.
Someone's really good on the mic. I've always thought Christopher Daniels was great talker on the mic. As far as he was the guy that pulled you in and made you go, man, this guy's really intelligent when he speaks, and you hear him speaking, you go, man, this guy, man, he's something. And then going back to my favorites, then Joe is another guy. Like you hear him speak, like a lot of people think just because he's a big Samoan guy that he thinks he's not very intimidating looking, but when he speaks, man, Jesus Christ, he got killed me. But growing up, my favorite talkers were The Rock, Shawn Michaels, because they were hands down the best talkers in the world. Stone Cold was my absolute favorite, though. He was my absolute favorite talker. Just the way he would come out to the ring and stand there, and the people would just scream their heads off. And it didn't matter what he said. If he said hot dogs, they would go, what? Fantastic. Like, he could go out there and say complete nonsense, and the fans would be behind it.
That's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. I was going to ask you, working with a guy who's built a career for himself as well. In reality, as a badass dude. I mean, in reference to Nigel Mcguinness, working with him, what is it like working with somebody who's created quite a career for himself? And I mean, obviously he's looked at as a boss now, but I mean, do you ever kind of sit down and maybe just pick his brain about certain scenarios, or maybe have him look at one of your matches or something to that extent? I mean, what's it like working with Nigel?
It's an absolute pleasure working with Nigel. Of course, I try to. Every time I go to ROH show before the show, I try to, pick his brain about, things that make a wrestler complete. A lot of people forget the little things. A couple of times there have been a few times where I would be able to sit and talk to him about stuff like that, but he's helped me quite a bit with understanding the psychology in which makes wrestling real. You know what I mean? Like, it's just little things that people tend to forget. They go, man, why do this? Why do that? Why do this? Why do that? It's just stuff like how to hold someone down and make people believe that this guy ain't getting back up, kind of thing. Another guy that helped me with that quite a bit is Bob Evans, Bruno Bob Evans. He's another one of those guys that people don't realize how good he really is. But, man, just sitting and talking to him and letting him teach you, like, little tricks, and, tricks of the trade, like, it's absolutely fantastic.
Bob Evans is a guy that reminds me of a lot, like the first time I seen him, William Regal. Lots. I don't know. He reminded me a lot of just how he carried himself in the ring and how he teaches other people, just takes other people under his wing and stuff like that. I mean, that's who he reminded me of, first impression,
I'm sorry, can you say what? I couldn't quite hear you. It kind of broke up a little bit.
Oh, I was going to say that the first time I seen Bob Evans, he reminded me, the first impression I got from him was William Regal. Like, instantly. That's what I thought he reminded me of, yeah.
Definitely.
That's a great, good comparison as far as going with Regal and Mcguinness. I mean, both are... They can be looked at as good, good trainers, good people to pick, look at as far as their aspect in the wrestling business. I've been a big fan of Regal for many, many years. But he'd be looked at as a good teacher as well, and it's a good comparison, actually.
Of course.
Going back to Ring of Honor for a second here, I was gonna say that you're done. You're done with the tag team. With Steve Coleman. There's a TV championships in the horizon, I was guessing, and there's a Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Where are you setting your sights on right now? I know you're setting your sights on the ROH World title, or the TV title. I mean, which one you're going to gravitate right now to? It makes any sense.
I think in my current position right now, the World TV title is a very good shot. my ultimate goal by the end of this year is to be world TV champion. Then the year after that, be world heavyweight champion. So, but just as of right now, my ultimate goal is to be television champion.
Well, you got a challenger ahead of you with Tommaso Ciampa. If he holds the title for long enough until you take him on, because that guy is a maniac, insane. I mean, he's like Michael Elgin. I think he's one of the best in the world. They have the intensity that they bring in the ring with anybody. I would think just meshes well with anything. And you and him together in the ring, I would love it. I don't know if it happened before, but for the TV title, I think it'd be a perfect scenario.
I completely agree. I think me and Tommaso will go out there and do some horrible things to each other, but I feel like with the TV title on, those things will be accentuated tenfold.
Most definitely.
Now, getting the chance to, obviously you work with Nigel, did you actually ever really get a chance to sit down and have a chat with Jim Cornette during his time there?
Not a whole lot. There was a few times after a couple matches I would have it where he would pull me and Caprice aside and he would tell us how much he loves us as a tag team, and he would, give us some things that that we could do better and stuff like that. But I never really had a chance to sit down with him and have an extended conversation. But excuse me. One guy that I have had that chance with is Kevin Kelly and Steve Corino. Those are two guys that I really
for sure.
Oh God, yeah. Years and years and decades of experience in wrestling. I've been able to pick their brains, and I really can't explain how much sitting and talking to those two have really helped me in my career.
Well, it's like I've always said too. When you're talking to, it's always good to talk to the commentators, because the more they know about you, the more they can put you over when you're in your match. Good example, obviously, I throw always is Steve Austin and Jim Ross. I mean, Jim Ross, those two were good friends for many, many years, still are to this day. But the fact that Jim knew so much about Steve, he could get the point across and the emotion across of how good he really was in the ring, and get the excitement built up. And as I said, working, getting to know your commentator and is a good thing. It's a very good thing, in fact. And Kevin has been around for a number of years, so I'm sure he's got a wealth of knowledge to share.
Definitely. And that's something I'm learning a little bit better, which before I was like, oh, the commentator should definitely know everything about me without me having to say a word to him. But I feel like, you're completely right, getting to know the commentator and so he can tell my story better to the fans is a definitely big part of my in-ring performance as well.
That's exactly what Matt Taven said last year when we had him on when he was a TV champion, that Kevin Kelly added, he was working with his character with Truth Martini, and Truth made him look like this. I don't know, I'm not going to say he basically revamped himself times 10 of what he was before as a character and as a wrestler. But Kevin Kelly pushed him over the top. Basically gave him, when he was commentating, made him look like gave him he complimented him so what, my words, I don't know.
He put him over as good as he could be, as he could be put over.
I say complimented, but I can't say anything.
What I was going to ask you, Cedric, if the fans want to keep up with what you're doing as far as your upcoming dates, working some of the indie shows or even Ring of Honor shows, do you keep up with the social media? If I'm not mistaken, I thought I saw that you had a Twitter. Do you have any other ways of communicating through social media?
Yes, I do. I have a Twitter, Cedric Alexander. My Facebook is also under the same name. I have Instagram, which is Cedric Alexander 1. I do have a Vine, but I don't really use it. So I'm not really a Vine guy. But I have one just to have it really. But just Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are usually the best ways to get in contact with me as far as social media.
Okay.
And, obviously you mentioned you have the upcoming shows this weekend. Could you tell us a little bit more about what's coming up in your upcoming, in the next couple of weeks, what you got coming up?
Yeah, sure. This weekend I got a triple shot with PWX. Well, on 2 of those nights I'm wrestling. For one of the 3 nights I'm wrestling Elgin. The third night I'm wrestling AJ Styles. The week after that, which is February 1st, right? Is it?
It's coming right around the corner.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No. So wait, this weekend and the weekend after that, I have Pittsburgh for ROH. After that, I got NWA Smoky Mountain on the 1st, and then and then after that, I got San Antonio for ROH again, and then the next night I will be in South Carolina for WrestleForce.
I hope to see you at Supercard in New Orleans, 2014, around April 6th, 5th, 4th. I think it's April 4th and 5th that the show is going to be for Ring of Honor. Yeah,
I would really hope that I am on those shows. That's like the biggest wrestling weekend of the year, so I'll definitely be there.
You know, on behalf of Austin and myself, Cedric, I want to thank you for taking time. I know we've like I said, we've definitely been working hard to make it happen, and we finally did, and we're definitely grateful that we made it happen. And we thank you for being patient with us as we got everything settled, but hope you enjoyed your time tonight as we did, and we thank you again. And hopefully maybe later in 2014 or sometime in the very near future, we'd love to have you come back and do a part 2 with us. But we want to thank you for joining us tonight. We really do.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll be in touch again for maybe a part 2 somewhere down the line.
Sounds good, man.
All right. You have yourself a good night, and thanks again.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.